Okay, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Village of Tuckahoe Zoning Board of Appeals meeting for November the 13th, 2019. Let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Nancy, please take the roll call.
Yes, Member Garrity.
Present.
Member Scalzo.
Present.
Member Palladino.
Present.
Member Jackman.
Present.
Member Fiore. Present. Chairman Ringwald.
Present. So tonight we have a few items. 21 Columbus Avenue, the special use permit for a new daycare center has adjourned for the evening. We have 46 Lincoln Avenue returning, area variance for an addition. 38 Fairview Avenue, which is convert 3-family to 2-family, and a garage to a bedroom. That is returning. We have a couple of new applicants, 5 Cottage Avenue, area variance to widen the driveway, and 122 Bella Vista Street, addition to a garage to convert to a photo studio and storage. So the first item we need to address are the minutes from the last meeting. Everybody had a chance to take a look at them? Anybody have any questions, additions?
No.
We have a motion to approve the minutes from the previous meeting.
Second.
We need first we need a,
Excuse me.
a motion to approve them. So you
Approve.
motion to approve them?
Yes.
Nancy,
Second.
you'll second them? Nancy, take the roll.
Member Garrity.
Abstain.
Member Scalzo.
Approve.
Member Palladino.
Approved.
Member Jackman.
Approve.
Member Fiore. Approved. And Chairman Ringwald.
Approve. Okay, first item then would be 46 Lincoln Avenue. Area variance for an addition. Is the applicant present? If so, please step forward. State your
Good
name.
evening, Leonard Brandis,
Hi, Len.
here to present for Eric Fang, 46 Lincoln. We're looking for the area variances for existing non-conforming building to do some small additions on the house.
Any changes from the previous meeting?
No, there have been no changes.
Okay. Any members have any questions?
No.
I do not.
No? You can have a seat. The public hearing is still open on 46 Lincoln Avenue. Is anyone from the public who would like to speak regarding 46 Lincoln? Seeing none, I'll make a motion to close the public hearing. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, does any member have a resolution in the form of a motion regarding 46 Lincoln Avenue?
I do, Chairman.
Thank you.
An area variance resolution. The application for area variances requested by Eric Fang, whose address is 46 Lincoln Avenue, Tuckahoe, New York, Section 43, Block 2, Lot 38, for relief from the following sections of the zoning code: 4-2.4.1 front yard, 4-2.4.2 side yard, and 5-1.6.3 enlarging a nonconformity. The secret resolution. Based on this application as submitted, this zoning board of appeals finds and determines that 1. The action taken herein is an unlisted action subject to the requirements of SECRA and its implementing regulations. 2. This zoning board of appeals is in possession of all information reasonably necessary to make the determination as to the environmental significance of the proposed area variance application. 3. That the action taken herein shall not have a significant adverse impact on the environment, and it is declared that a negative declaration is hereby adopted with regard to this action.
Thank you. Do I have a second to the secret resolution?
Second.
Nancy, please poll the board.
Member Garrity.
In favor?
Member Scalzo.
In favor.
Member Palladino.
In favor.
Member Jackman.
In favor.
Chairman Ringwald.
In favor. Please proceed.
The applicant resides at 46 Lincoln Avenue, Tuckahoe. Applicant is seeking to add an addition for a new family room and also an addition over an existing first-floor structure. As this property is a legal nonconforming structure and the applicant is seeking to enlarge the nonconformity, this application is necessary. The board finds that the additions will greatly improve the existing home while having little to no impact to the adjacent neighbors. Therefore, recommendation is for the area variances to be granted as the benefit to the applicant of the area variances outweighs the detriment to the health, safety, and welfare of the neighborhood. The applicant has demonstrated through its submissions and presentation that it has met all aspects of the five-pronged test to the satisfaction of this board. The granting of the variances herein is granted on the condition that work under such variance be commenced and diligently prosecuted within 1 year of the granting thereof, failing which such variances shall become null and void.
Thank you. Do I have a second to the motion?
Second.
Nancy, please poll the board.
Member Garrity.
In favor?
Member Scalzo.
In favor.
Member Palladino.
In favor.
Member Jackson.
In favor.
Chairman Ritter.
In favor. That's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, I appreciate it.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Good luck. Thank you. Next item is 38 Fairview Avenue. Convert the three-family to a two-family and convert a garage to a bedroom. The applicant's present. Please step forward. State your name for the record.
Good evening. My name is Ted DeMore. I'm the architect for the project and applicant as well.
Okay,
I'm authorized as the applicant.
thank you. Have there been any changes since our last meeting?
We decided to take a look at your suggestion of adding a second floor over the garage so that we could convert the garage back. And it turned out to be, we had a contractor estimated for us, and it turned out to be more expensive than we could afford to be able to do the project. So we can't do that.
Well, thank you for doing that. And correct me if I'm wrong, but the existing garage is in today's standards, too small actually to get a car into it anyway, right?
That's correct.
All right. So would not serve the purpose that I was hoping it would.
And to clarify, it has been a converted unit for 50-something years, or 60 years.
It's the temporary permit to make it, the garage into a bedroom was granted 69 years ago. So it's almost
69.
70 years. Wow. And we are voluntarily converting the house from three families, which have existed for quite a while, down to two families. So that reduces the parking requirement that we can't meet anyway, but we're not going to need as many cars.
I just wanted on the record that essentially it's an existing issue that is not changing, essentially.
That's
Right.
correct.
Thank you.
Good point.
At the last meeting, a member of the public came in and was concerned about recycling and garbage and where that would be stored on the property.
I have a site plan with me. I can show you again. There's a bay window here.
Perhaps if you could.
I'll put it on the easel. Sure.
And then if you would, please take the microphone with you. The microphone from the podium.
Okay. Here's the sidewalk on Fairview Avenue. Here's the house. There's a bay window that sticks out. There's a Bilco cellar door over here. And in between here and here will be the rubbish barrels. It's only two families. The rubbish is picked up often enough that they'll be able to just deal with two barrels right here.
Good.
They won't even be visible to the public.
Good. Any other questions?
None.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
You can have a seat while we wrap this up. A reminder that the public hearing is still open regarding 38 Fairview Avenue. Is there anyone from the public that would like to comment regarding this applicant? Seeing none, I'll make a motion to close the public hearing on 38 Fairview. Do I have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Does any member have a resolution in the form of a motion that they'd like to present regarding 38 Fairview?
I have one.
Please proceed.
Area variance resolution. The application for area variances requested by Nelson Avenue Real Property LLC, whose address is 388 Street, apartment 36C, Brooklyn, seeking variances for the property located at 38 Fairview Avenue, Tuckahoe, New York, Section 33, Block 3, Lot 26, for relief from the following sections of the zoning code: 4-3.7, off-street parking, and 5-1.6.3, extending a nonconformity. Secret resolution. Based on this application as submitted, the Zoning Board of Appeals finds and determines that 1. The action taken herein is an unlisted action subject to the requirements of SECRA and its implementing regulations. 2, the Zoning Board of Appeals is in possession of all information reasonably necessary to make the determination as to the environmental significance of the proposed area variance application. And 3, that the action taken herein shall not have a significant adverse impact on the environment, and it is declared that a negative declaration is hereby adopted with regard to this application.
Thank you. Is there a second to the secret resolution?
Second.
Nancy, please poll the board.
Member Garrity?
In favor?
Member Scalzo?
In favor. In favor.
Member Jackson?
In favor.
Chairman Ringo?
In favor. Please proceed.
Applicant owns property at 38 Fairview Avenue, Tuckahoe. Premises have been used as a 3-family dwelling with a room over the garage. The applicant is seeking to legalize the premises and use the premises going forward as a 2-family dwelling. Further, the applicant is seeking to legalize the existing room above the garage that has been apparently used continuously since a temporary certificate of occupancy was granted for its use. This board appreciates that the applicant is seeking the use of these premises as a 2-family dwelling and not seeking to use as a 3-family dwelling. Also, since the room over the garage exists pursuant to a temporary CO, there will be no impact as to the neighborhood of its continued use as a room. Therefore, recommendation is for the area variances to be granted, as the benefits to the applicant of the area variances outweigh the detriment to health, safety, and the welfare of the neighborhood. The applicant has demonstrated through its submissions and presentation that it has met all aspects of the 5-pronged test to the satisfaction of this board. The granting of the area variances herein is granted on the condition that work under variance be commenced and diligently prosecuted within 1 year of the granting thereof, failing which such variances shall become null and void.
Thank you. Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Nancy, please poll the board.
Member Garrity?
In favor?
Member Scalzo?
In favor.
Member Palladino?
In favor.
Member Jackson?
In favor.
Chairman Ringo?
In favor. That's it. Thank you very much. Congratulations. Thank you for helping improve the neighborhood. Thank you. Next item will be 7 Cottage Avenue, area variance to widen the driveway. The applicant, please step forward. State your name for the record.
My name is George Moscone. My wife and I moved to 7 Cottage Place about a year and a half ago. And one of the many improvements that we want to make to the home is to reposition the current steps that are adjacent to the driveway, to put them up at a 90-degree angle and essentially be able to use the space where the steps currently are to park another car at the base of the driveway.
Do you have any drawings with you that you can put on the board?
I don't, just what I've submitted.
Why don't you take this and put it on the board over there? So if you put that on the whiteboard, they can show it to the public.
Yeah, if you can, sure. Pull it down the bottom.
That works. I think you'll be able to get that. All right, so just to kind of walk through this. Essentially, right now, which is a little hard to see on the picture, as we're facing your house on the right side of the driveway, there is a 3-foot wide stone wall that essentially has empty space behind it currently, with the neighbor's wall to the right. So it's empty space. It's currently not used.
It's currently just used to hide the receptacles, which will use a finished shed rather than have that stone wall there.
Okay. And then I think the larger change is that on the left side of the driveway, there is currently stone or concrete steps that are leading up to the house. From what you've told us in the work session, essentially you're going to be repositioning the steps where a person entering your property would be walking up the driveway 1.5 feet, taking a left, and then going up steps kind of parallel to the house.
Correct.
Okay. And the idea for you guys is that, why do you need the extra space? Is
The
it,
idea is to be able to get another car at the base of our driveway and to relieve some of the parking congestion that exists on Oak and Cottage Place.
okay. We always like more parking.
And how long have you lived in the home?
Just under a year and a half.
Any other renovations that you'll be doing to the home?
Yes, we're planning on doing a powder room on the first floor. There's no bathroom on the first floor currently. We're also going to install central air, amongst other smaller improvements to the home.
So based on this photo, which is hard to see on camera, this driveway is in disrepair. So this will be a significant improvement to the property and the surrounding area. And all you're basically asking for is a couple of feet on each side to remove that retaining wall that's covering the trash bins today, so that you can, as you stated, park a couple of cars in that driveway and give everybody else on the tight lock, a break. I have no other questions regarding this. I think it's a very good proposal. Anybody else on the board have any questions or concerns?
No, I don't think so.
None? Okay, as we told you in the work session, we need to open the public hearing on this, and we will then be able to decide, give you our decision next month. All right? So thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to make a proposal to open the public hearing regarding this 7 Cottage Avenue. Do I have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone from the public that would like to get up to speak regarding 7 Cottage Avenue? Seeing none, I'll make a motion to leave the public hearing open until our next meeting. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Very good. All right, thank you very much. See you next meeting. And our final applicant of the evening is 122 Bella Vista Street. Is the applicant present? Please step forward and state your name for the record. Yeah, at what point do I do that?
Good evening. Good evening. My name is Oscar Ovalle. I'm with New York Architect Designers. I'm with Kathleen Kravchenko, who is the owner.
Right.
First of all, I want to apologize for not being present at the...
One second.
1 second, sorry, I'm going to recuse myself from this particular application. Okay? Thank you, you can proceed.
Okay. So, first of all, I want to apologize for not being on the working session. I was not aware of that, so I think I was here years ago on another public hearing. So, basically what we want to do here is want to put an addition to the existing garage. It's 1-story addition, 18 feet 2 inches by 4 feet 6 inches, and to raise the roof of the existing garage, as you can see here on the site plan. So if you look at the floor plan, this is the addition we want to put. Since we want to use the existing garage as a photo studio for the owner, we want to be able to have a small powder that is going to serve the photo studio and storage to keep gardening stuff, because we are taking all the storage from the existing garage. This is a photo of the existing garage. This is what we want to do. On the first floor is going to be the photo studio. The attic is going to be used for storage for all the equipment and stuff that she's going to need for her photo studio. So basically that's the project. Now she's going to speak about the reasons why she needs this addition.
Hi, everyone. I'm Caitlin Larrabee Kravchenko. I'm the photographer who's hoping to build this. So I started my photo business when I had my first child, started shooting him. And it's grown since then, and I've been working out of my basement, and I mostly shoot families and newborns. I almost exclusively shoot families and newborns. So as you can imagine, bringing a newborn to the basement isn't ideal, and also it's not great for my photo equipment. I do a lot of textiles, and I have a lot of props that you put the newborns in. So having a garage, or converting the garage to a studio, allows me to both be with my young kids, and any future children we may have, and also be near them, but not too far. If I wanted to rent a studio, I'd have to go to White Plains or further north, which isn't ideal, and also doesn't keep my business here in Tuckahoe. I think, the humidity, the danger of flood is very not great for photo equipment. So if I ever flooded in the basement, which it already, weeps a little because it's a basement, is a little nerve-wracking. So to be able to create a custom-built studio with a powder room, which is especially important because I'm dealing with either pregnant mothers, nursing mothers, young children who have to go to the bathroom a lot, the powder room is important so that they don't have to go into my house. I have a dog. Could be messy. It's much more professional to have a studio. I think that covers it for now.
And how often do your clients come to your studio, your house?
Sure. Yeah, I have generally about per week coming to my studio 2 or 3 times a week. So that's usually one a day, maybe at most, because I can't do more than that. Because newborn sessions take 3 hours. It's kind of exhausting. So I don't expect a flood, and even then, it's usually one car of people who come to the house.
All right, so it falls on me, I think, to be the bad cop here, I'm afraid. So it sounds amazing. I understand why you're doing this. I think that there are very good reasons. Photographing anyone in a basement and having to store your equipment there, we understand, is an issue. There's a couple issues facing you here, not the least of which is, and I'm just going to get these out of the way first so we can kind of talk about constructively how can we kind of make something work for you or get you something that will work for your business. The biggest one is that the zoning code in this village is very specific regarding businesses, which I think you may have seen on the denial letter, which is that businesses have to be located in the main part of your house. And the reason is that I'm sure you see all over Tuckahoe, almost every residence in Tuckahoe has a similar garage. Most of the properties have a garage like this. And one of the big issues we face in zoning, which is a real pain, is that when we approve applications, for example, of this, essentially everybody in the village could then come in and say, well, I also want a 2-story garage. And then you've got everybody having 2-story garages. Now, the one thing we didn't get, and the other issue is that we didn't actually get it as part of our packet, but if you could go back to your, thank you, site plan, right? Yeah, thank you. We didn't actually see this in our packet, but most importantly is that if we look at Google Maps, for example, you've got a neighbor directly behind you and a neighbor on this, for example, below you. And the neighbor below you has a very small backyard space. And now she's going to have an 18, 19-foot garage kind of right on the edge of her property. So that is also kind of an issue. We have very close, small properties in this village. And you don't see a lot of 2-story garages for that reason. Let me see if that was. So those are kind of the issues. So now how do we get how do we get you something? Oh, and I forgot one more, I'm afraid, which is that one of the biggest problems in this village, as you probably know, living here, is parking. And if we allow garages to be converted into residential, I'm aware it's an office, but essentially it's being closed off into I'm not sure what you would call it, any of you guys, a livable space, you might say.
Sure.
It creates an issue where we've now lost parking, right? Technically, that's a space for a car. I understand that most of these garages can no longer fit a car because they're not Model Ts anymore. The other big issue is that if you're going to be in that property for 10, 20 years, we hope you stay in the village for as long as possible. When we do these approvals for the zoning board, we're approving this forever. So essentially, we may be creating an issue for someone 80 years from now, and that's, as weird as it sounds, it's something we have to think about. And one of the problems is once this is made, which it looks unbelievably gorgeous, it's a perfect little house for someone, right? So we could, not you, but in 30 years, that's pretty nice. You get a little rent out of that. So it's kind of, these are all things we have to think about. And I just want to get that out of the way first so that you understand that these are the issues, at least from my perspective, and the other gentleman here can tell me if they have any disagreement on those. But those are kind of the big issues. Now, how do we make this work for you? I mean, the thing is you need a studio and you need somewhere to put your stuff. So I'm not sure about the other individuals here, but the second floor might be an issue. That, again, we're kind of coming way up over someone else's property right next to us. Is there a way for you to make the current space work if you come out down your own driveway, for example, or if we still gave you the ability to add the storage shed onto the side so you would kind of be able to empty out that garage, for example? Because I think the vertical is more of an issue than you going into your yard a little bit. I don't know about you guys.
Well, I would say it is a concern, and there was no topographical, or elevation views to really allow us to sort of understand the impact on the neighbor behind you or to the south of you, I guess. And so that's, it is a concern is how intrusive would this structure be and overbearing on the neighborhood.
Right. I think that would be helpful because our neighbor behind us is actually above us already, so they're elevated. If that makes any sense.
Right, we actually saw that. It's the neighbor, if you look on this map, it's the neighbor below you. So the one that
across the street?
No, so essentially the one where the garage is on the property. So if you're going up your driveway, the house to your right.
To my right, okay.
Okay, so that's actually, I think, our primary neighbor we're concerned about. I think, not to speak for everybody, but that's going to be a big building. 19 feet tall is, that's a big structure going up. And I'm sorry you missed the work session because that's a way to kind of, we understand. That's a way to kind of hash these things out so we can kind of get to you before you have to get up here on
Makes
mic,
sense.
and then we have to tell you all this terrible stuff. And, but we also, we're here to help you as a resident of the village, and we want to make something work. I think there are ways we can get to what you're looking for possibly without going up another story or a full story, maybe adding, if you want kind of the look of that, bringing it down a little bit or something of that nature. I just don't know if we're going to be able to get you that storage area, which I know is sounds wonderful.
Yeah, the biggest, I think for me, the ceiling height of our basement is like 7 feet. And so if you're thinking the average man is, let's say, 5'10", 5'11", that doesn't give me any, their heads are like this far from the ceiling.
And your garage has the same issue right now?
We're trying to gain that and, like you said, and storage. So I just want to put that out there in front of the board that, like, the ceiling height of the main floor is 10 feet to achieve, optimal photo lighting of your average male.
Okay. So, because, if I look at the picture, for example, that you included, it's actually a fairly high garage. Now there's a big structure or something over the... Right. It feels like they're... Can you guys tell me if I'm just going down a road on my own here versus you guys are kind of in agreement? Okay. I think I don't think there's any issue from my perspective, you building the storage, because usually we don't like people cutting into what little backyard space they have, but we understand it just has to happen sometimes. So I think, adding a small bathroom, a small powder room, or adding onto that storage area, even if you wanted to go a little further even and create a little larger storage area for yourself, that would probably be better for us than you going up 9 feet, if that makes sense.
Let me ask you something. Basically, we are creating a 10-foot space here for the studio, and on top we have this attic. We were creating these shed dormers, so probably that's what make it look really tall, because we were trying to create a storage space
Above.
which is an attic, but is probably more than an attic with these sheds. My question is, could we keep the 10 feet high for the studio and kind of try?
Yeah, I think if you I think we're okay with you, creating a proper first one-story structure.
Yeah.
It's how high you're going up above the existing structure.
If I probably lower the pitch of the roof, because right now it's 12 in 12. If I do something like 6 in 12 and lower.
I don't think, if I'm being blunt, I just don't think we're going to allow you to do the kind of a full storage space that you can actually walk into up there.
Yeah.
It's just, either way, you're going to be kind of looming over your neighbor's yard by, even if it was just 6 feet, you're talking 16 feet when you're in your backyard, in this kind of tiny little backyard, and you've got a 16-foot structure right next to your property line.
Okay.
It's a lot. I don't think we mind you bringing the roof up a little bit if you need more space for you to do your photos. I just don't think we want another, again, if I'm speaking on the line here, I personally don't feel like I want another story on that unit. So if you want to bring it up a little bit and clean up your roof line so you get more space.
10, 11 feet isn't a problem.
Yes.
15 feet's a problem.
Yeah.
I don't know where in the gray area that changes, but,
And then you had said, Mr.
Sorry.
Jackman, something about coming forward down the driveway potentially, because we
would
can
you-
fit like 3.5 cars.
Would you mind handing me the site? Again, it would be nice if we had the site plan, because that would allow us to kind of judge. Could I actually see that? Could you pull that off for us? And again, you've got, so
That's right.
the one thing we'd like to explain is that the way this works, which the prior gentleman is also going through, is that at a minimum, this takes 2 months, because essentially we have to have this discussion, we have to open the public hearing,
Yeah.
and then we have to close the public hearing in the following meeting. So at a minimum, you're going to have to be coming back next month anyway. And then in the work session, we can kind of go over, if you come back in with new plans and kind of a new proposal, we can talk about that there. We can tweak things and kind of get this working. So that's kind of where we missed it, just to kind of. Now, yeah, I mean, you've got quite a bit of space between your garage and the residence. I mean, I'm guesstimating it's about almost 30 feet between the garage and the residence, which is, it's not bad, this space here. Yeah, if you wouldn't mind actually putting that there so the public can see that. Could you, it's a little hard to see, it's a little curled up. Could you zoom in on that? On the bottom. Sorry, he's got to get our little camera thingamabobber going here.
There you go.
There we go. Yeah, so it's a sizable space between the two structures. And I mean, I think we'd have to see again a site plan with your proposed footprint. But yeah, if you wanted to come out a few feet similar to what you did with the storage unit versus going up over your neighbor's property, I think that would be okay. So the other big thing is that we're losing garage space. Now, it looks like you're already kind of doing this with your plan, which is that you're leaving a large front entrance that can be used still as a garage door.
I think we're going to put in a sliding door. And the reason that is actually for photography purposes, but I understand that, like, in the future, that's what you're saying, in the future, right?
We essentially, me. I essentially don't want this to be able to be closed off as a house, because that's absolutely what we have enough issues of this happening already. I don't know if there's a way, and your architect would probably answer this more than you, is that if there's a way for her to incorporate some sort of sliding glass structure along with, you could still drive a car into the garage. There's got to be, I'm sure there's got to be fittings or something of that nature where it's not a, the bottom of the sliding structure isn't a plate. It's a sort of built into the ground. And if you still wanted to use it as a garage, you could. So you'd still get your studio space, but it still could be used as a garage.
If I understood well, you want us to keep the opening.
Which it looks like you're already doing.
Yeah.
If I'm looking at your new drawing.
In the future, it could be used again as a.
So essentially, if there's, and I've seen it on HGTV or somewhere, I'm sure that, there are doors that are like a garage door where you can essentially slide these all the way over and you've still got your garage entrance for a car. Does that make sense to everyone else? Okay. Just throwing out that kind of, again, we're trying to figure out a way to give you what you're looking for here while we can't lose a kind of garage on the property. Okay? I mean, does that seem a doable thing?
Yes.
So she can still get the look of what she wants with those front doors, but it's still usable as a garage when she's finished having it as a studio. Okay.
Perfect.
Okay. And I think that's it. So you guys is everyone else okay with her coming out a little bit towards the house?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think your backyard has enough square footage if you want to increase the size of this slightly, I think it would be fine.
And again, we understand the roof lines, the little pyramid roof line is difficult for you to work with. So if you need to modify that, that's fine. I think we just don't want, like member Scalzo said, 10, 11 feet, okay. 16, 18, then, that's going to be an issue. Is this enough for you guys to kind of work with? Do you have any concerns that you'd like to talk?
No, I'm just curious. So we're talking, 10, 11 feet is okay. 16, 18 is not, 16, 18. What about like 14?
So, I mean, we're
10 or 11 is okay.
then we'd have to really look
We're
at
in a
site.
gray area.
Yeah, and then we're
Then
getting
we got to
in-
measure the height of the
Right.
the greenery on the side.
Right.
and,
10, 11 feet is we check and go, fine. 14 feet is we need detailed site drawings. We have to come by to the property and see your neighbor's perspective. We have to get a mock-up of that.
And honestly,
And it's still-
if it's 14 feet in the middle of your property, but it's only 10 feet by the neighbor's line because it slopes away, that way, that would be more doable than if it's the other way where it's a huge wall on your neighbor's property line.
That makes sense.
So,
So for
you know, you
example,
can slope it different ways.
so just on your plans currently as they're shown, what, as Member Scalzo was saying, you know, the top roof line there is 18 feet, but if you go down to the next kind of roof, it's only 11. Sorry, right in the middle on the second column, middle picture. So it's 18 foot to the top of the structure, but if you go down to the next roof line, that's only 11 feet. So you were saying, so that's not, so instead of this looming 18 feet over the property, now you're down to 11 feet, kind of sloping up to the middle of your garage. Now, I still don't think we want 18 feet in the middle of the garage, but you've got a lot of room to work with there. You could still bring the structure up quite a bit, and still kind of keep to that 10, 11 feet by her property. You know, if it goes to 12 in the middle, 13 in the middle, comes down, you know.
Not for any confusion, you're talking the 10, 11 feet will be at the peak,
No, 10, 11 feet would be at the property line with the
the
neighbor.
roof line, and then the peak would be above that.
Right, which is her current garage is already,
Not to be critical, just to, so
Right,
that
right.
there's no question later on.
right, the current garage is already about 9 feet something, so it would essentially, from her perspective, right on the property line, it wouldn't really change. She'd still have, what's that? Yeah, I mean, it's big.
That's tall, 10 feet tall.
You need it.
So if we can just bring that down, you know, so we're not more than 10 feet at her property and we're not going up to, I mean, I think 14 might be a bit much if we're, you know, keeping it to 12, 13 in the middle of the structure. And again, if you're getting the space on the side and in the front to go out, you're going to have a much bigger area down there. And especially if you're coming out to the side, that allows you to kind of, I'm sure he's going to come up with some very nice looking offset roof, you know, looking sort of thing. So, is it doable? Okay.
You got work cut out for you. All right. Thank you very
And
much.
I think I'm very interested to find out the kind of structure you're going to use for the garage entrance, because again, we want to make sure that can be turned back into a garage if need be.
And you'd want a topical map as well next.
If you're coming back to, and again, we just need this, which as long as he provides us this site plan by next time, if you're keeping kind of to what we're asking for, which is
I do think an elevation would be helpful here with your
a
neighbors.
side elevation. So looking direct on at the structure, a side elevation.
Yeah, I mean, in comparison to your rear neighbors and, the side neighbors on the right.
Okay. I mean, but then she wouldn't be going that much above the current structure if we had her keep it to 10 feet. That's the current structure.
Well, it might be the current structure where the point is of that versus where the gutters are, the gutter line. The gutter line might only be 7 or 8.
Oh, I see
feet,
what you mean.
you know what I mean?
Mm.
I don't know how tall that hedge is. Anyways, I think you guys need to talk about it among yourselves, think about it, but those are some things that would be helpful for us for making a decision.
Okay. And the work session is at 6:45 prior to the next meeting, yes?
Usually it's at 6:45, yes.
It'll be on the agenda. If you look on the website or call the building department, they'll let you know what time we'll start.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We hope you gave you a little ray of hope at least, and I'm sorry.
At this point, I would like to make a motion.
Yes.
Make a motion to open the public hearing for 122 Bella Vista Street. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Is there anyone from the public here to discuss 122 Bella Vista? At this point, I don't see anyone here, so we will keep it open until the next meeting. And Mr. Chairman, would you like to resume your duties?
Thank you very much. Is there any other business we need to discuss? Seeing none, I make a motion to close this meeting. Do I have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Good night, Tuckahoe.